distinguished guests, it is a great pleasure and honor to have you here tonight. This year has been one of challenges, but also of hopes. This year has been the year of Ukraine. Ukraine, which has gone through this all-out aggression. I won't repeat the words, unprovoked, unwarranted, unjustified, and everything. And Ukraine has resisted for now 10 months. Its proud people has shown us what it means to be resolute, to be resilient, and most of all, to be united. And doing that, the people of Ukraine and its leaders have, in fact, defeated Russia, or at least already defeated Russian propaganda, Russian strategy, which Russia has to change not one but many times, and has defeated Russia because it has revealed to the entire world what the world didn't want to see in the previous acts of aggressions, and like in 1992, 2008, 2014, this time the world has discovered the real face of Russia. This year has been also the year of Europe, also a year of challenges and hopes. Challenged because what was the ground for the creation of Europe, which is to get rid of war forever, has come back in the middle of Europe, this war. And in a way, it's challenging and defeating the purpose of Europe. But that's not the case. Because thanks to this challenge, Europe has reopened, really, its path towards enlargement, which has been probably the most successful of the European policies over the years. It has moved towards becoming a full-fledged power that does not hesitate to use its strengths to support its allies, its partners, and to show what it is to be a new power. And it has decided, and that was not easy, to consolidate its independence and especially its energetical independence. And we all know how that is difficult, how that is hurting and is very, very heavy for the populations. But thanks to that, Europe is now really emerging as a power to be reckoned with by all, and has thus demonstrated its unity and its resolve. And that's the Europe we want to be closer to and integrated to. This year has also been a year for women, for the women of Ukraine again, and also the Iranian women, and I want to pay my respects to them. What year has it been for Georgia? There too, a mixture of challenges and new possibilities. Challenges, of course, the war in Ukraine by itself is a challenge to Georgia because it revives the wounds old and current, the occupied territories, and some of the fears that all of the neighbors of Russia, especially the smaller ones, have. And despite that, at every stage, and I want to underline that the Georgian people have been in full solidarity with the Ukrainian people and their struggle. That has shown in many different ways, whether it's humanitarian aid, individual fighters that are fighting with their Ukrainian brothers, demonstrations on the streets of different type, receiving Ukrainian refugees. Our citizens have said their word, And their word is that there is no peace that is lasting without justice, freedom, and independence for all. New challenges have appeared also for our policy of European integration. The perspective that we have been given, and that we have been given thanks to the Ukraine struggle, is one that is a historical major step, because it closes forever a debate that had been going on and on about geography dictating its borders. And that is closed now. Historical is also the decision to go forward with these new projects, and today is the day when was signed the green energy cable under the Black Sea, and that shows where we are going and how important these new links with Europe, the concrete links, are. But we all know also that not receiving the candidate status was an extreme disappointment for the Georgian population. A population that has never flinched, that has never changed on its path towards Europe. We all know that the 12 recommendations will determine the next decisions. And again, it is very clear what the Georgian population wants from its authorities, from its political elites, and what they expect from them. And their expectation, as clear as it is, should be well listened to. It is also important that beyond dealing with, of course, the authorities and the political forces, our partners from outside, when they address us, do not forget to recognize the population, its political will. Georgians should not be forgotten. Have them on your mind. Another challenge that Georgia has been facing, in addition, of course, to the war in Ukraine and what it shows about the determination of Russia of trying to still impose its will upon its neighbors, is directly our relation with Russia. Some people here might think that they need more analysis. Some groups might feel that it is safer to criticize our Western partners than our occupant. It remains that the main challenge to Georgia is, and will be as long as it lasts, the occupation of our territories by the Russian forces. The challenge is to Georgia, it is to our citizens that live on both sides of the occupation line. It's to our citizens in Abkhazia that are challenged over the control on their own land, to their language and to their identity, who are challenged by the attempts to mobilize them against Ukraine. They are also challenged by these false threats that Georgia might want to take advantage of the ongoing war to recuperate our territories, when what we want is to reunite with our population. And that doesn't go through grabbing territories. That's for other people to do. We have a new challenge, and that is Russian massive immigration. It's a challenge, and it's also an opportunity, and it's because it's demonstrating once again what is Georgian tolerance and Georgian hospitality. But hospitality should not be stupid. And we have a duty towards our own population to be in full control of what is happening, have our borders open, yes, especially that among those Russian citizens, there are many Georgian origin citizens, but at the same time, be sure that we have in place the right legislation, the right regulations to avoid in the future unwanted tensions. The greatest challenge, not only to us, but probably to the whole of Europe, and the rest of the world will come when the time of negotiations will come. And that is clearly in the hands, and only in the hands, of the Ukrainian people. But when that time comes, if one wants to avoid in the future the repetition of 1992, of 2008, of 2014, of 2022, and many other aggressions towards neighbors, it has to be clear that occupation is no longer tolerable on the continent of Europe. And whoever wants a real peace and a real negotiation has to first recognize that and then discuss. Finally, for Georgia, together with such major challenges all around us that might and will determine the future of our nation, our internal challenges appear anachronic, absurd, and uncalled for. Here too, the population's aspiration is clear. They want to finish with polarization. They want to see emerging new forces for the future of Georgia, new figures, new perspectives. But for the time being, that is not the wish or will of the political forces, whether the majority or whether the majority of the opposition. They are all still clinging to either power or to their own party aspirations. Clearly, one of the issues that is accentuating this polarization is the issue around the former president. I have said, and I will repeat, that for the sake of this country, for its reputation, for its internal stability and for its future, it is important that all sides stop with speculations and that we wait for this decision on the 22nd of December, which I'm confident, and I want to be confident, that it will allow the Georgian population to get out of this quandrum and allow the political forces to do what is their duty, which is to concentrate on governing and on solving the issues and clearly setting Georgia on a stable path towards Europe, towards peace, and towards prosperity. And that is what I wish for this country for 2023. That is what I wish for all of you, for you, your families, and for the whole world. Thank you very much.